Hi, Mohammed. Nice to see that you sent us a set of essays. Let's see what you did in this set. So, starting with your task 2, which is about international marketing, here's what you wrote. Whether marketing goods and services internationally is invasive or is necessary is a matter of, this is supposed to be debate clearly, but it's been spelled wrong, D-E-B-A-T-E. While I believe that international marketing is an important part of today's, you need an apostrophe S, economy, this essay will discuss both views. Okay, so what are you telling us? That in the end, your opinion is that it's necessary? I would have liked you to make this a little more obvious. Just make sure that it's clear that you are in favor of it, okay? So, one of the main advantages of marketing internationally is that companies are able to sell their products to a global customer base. This allows them to increase their profit margins by having a wider customer base, as well as improve their brand reputation by simply stating that the products are sold internationally. Okay. This feels a little repetitive to me. You say one of the advantages is that they sell it to a global base, and then you say it has a wider base. So that, I think you could have rephrased it so that it didn't feel quite so repetitive. And by the way, you spelled increase wrong. So this allows them to increase their profit margins by not being limited to just a local or regional customer base, but you know, a wider base that, you know, could be worldwide. I don't know, just something else to really just, you know, make it not seem so identical. All right. For example, technological companies like Microsoft Capital, and Google are recognized internationally and are hence considered a reliable source of goods and products. Okay, let's move on. The downside to global marketing is that it negatively affects local culture and customs. Due to the influence of foreign ideas, customs, and language, especially on the young and impressionable, traditional ways of life are abandoned in favor of the modern. If this trend with a D continues, many native cultures and languages could be irreversibly lost. For instance, in India, due to adoption of other languages in Kashmir, capital K, only a handful, 1L, of native Kashmiri speakers exist today, and it is expected to become an extinct language in the coming years. All right. In conclusion, while international marketing allows companies to expand globally, it also negatively affects local cultures of the countries, careful with your spelling, they advertise to with one O. I believe, however, that if it is adequately spelling regulated, it will continue to be an important component of modern economies. Okay, so here's the good news. A lot of your grammar and a lot of your vocabulary are both really, really nice. There were a number of collocations and expressions that you used that I thought were really lovely, very natural, nice high-level stuff. My concern with your essay is regarding how on topic it is, because let's look at the topic again. It says it can be seen as an invasion and intrusion. All right. So, all right, let's assume here that you did talk about this and you did say how it's invasive and intrusive. Where did you talk about it being a necessary and economical form of education, spreading ideas, language, and culture? Supposedly that was here. But you didn't really make that clear. You basically said that the companies are kind of given kind of more authority because they are sold internationally. You know, they can increase their profit. So you didn't really talk about any of the areas that the prompt actually tells you to talk about. So for me, it really felt rather off topic. Okay? That was my concern. So, other than that, it was good, but this paragraph for me was very weak, and it's interesting. It was very weak, meaning that you didn't answer the question, which is interesting because you said that you were in favor of it. So, you needed to read this a little more closely, okay? Now the other thing is that typically we put the side that we agree with at the bottom. So first we talk about the side that we don't really support, and then we talk about the side that we do support. That's the more logical way of organizing your paragraphs, all right? So since we've looked at this, let's now take a look at your task 1. Water consumption. Okay, gallons per capita, fine. The bar chart illustrates the amount of water used in gallons per person in Mexico, Thailand, Italy, Germany, UAE, France, and USA in the year 2013. Fine. Overall, it can be observed that Mexico was the largest consumer of water worldwide in 2013, and Americans used the least amount of water during the same year among the top 7 consumers of water worldwide. Lovely. Among developed countries, careful with your spelling please, Italy used the most amount of water at approximately 53 gallons per capita, while Germany and France used similar amounts of water at about 37 gallons each in 2013. USA, on the other hand, consumed the lowest amount of water at around 32 gallons. Perfect, fine. In the case of developing countries, Mexico had a water usage of just over 65 gallons per capita. Thailand followed Mexico, capital M, at just, careful with your typing, under 60, while UAE residents consumed approximately 37 gallons. Okay, I double checked. UAE is actually considered developed, not a developing country. So while I like the idea you had here to separate this by developing and developed, not 100% accurate in that. So you might have wanted to organize these a little differently. Okay. Let's see. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I guess that wouldn't work either, would it? I was going to say like Western countries versus countries in the middle, from the Middle East and further east, or let's see. How else could you have done this? I mean, there are other ways you could have done this for sure. You could have basically talked about the top 3 and just, discussed them together, and then you could have spent your second paragraph talking about these 4. Okay, so that was another way you could have done this for sure. In other words, going from the over 40 group to the under 40 group, and done it like that. I like the language. Everything was really done. I really like your overview. So essentially, you're at a really good position here. You're in a really good position here. Forgive me. With your task 1, I liked it. I thought you have the right idea, the right language. So good. My one concern with your task 1, your task 2, is what I already told you about not really answering the question. I know you said in your email that you've got an exam coming up in about a week or so. That gives you enough time to sign up for some essay corrections, and I am confident that in the essay corrections over the next week, we can work together and make sure that you are, in fact, answering the question that has been asked to you, and not just, answering what you think is being asked. So I want to encourage you to sign up for essay corrections. I know, like I said, you don't have a lot of time, but I know that we can also get you to where you need to be. So see if that's something you can do. I'm looking forward to helping you, getting that 7 that you need. So hopefully we'll see more of your work in the future. Good luck.